everybody, how's it going? I'm back. I just completed week 2 of the Zero Waste Challenge from the Going Zero Waste blog by Catherine Kellogg. And week 2 gets more into lifestyle changes. Week 1 focused primarily on ending our dependence on disposable items and single-use plastics and things like that. So let's have a look at what kind of lifestyle changes we can make to live a greener, zero waste life. The first thing we focus on is decluttering. So decluttering your life, getting rid of the things that you no longer need. Everything takes up space, and it can be exhausting just having so much stuff. I'm getting ready to have a clothing swap party with some of my girlfriends to see if we can't get rid of the piles of clothes that we own. So this is something I've talked about extensively, decluttering and how it's so important. But if you're going to declutter in a green way, you can't throw things in the trash. That's the problem, is a lot of people have no issue getting rid of stuff, but they don't know what to do with it. So I follow my own method where I prepare an area, I clean up the items, and then I organize items into categories. So there are items to sell, items to donate, items to repair, items to recycle, and items to discard, or what I like to call the free pile. So you can sell things on eBay, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and I've had a little bit of success doing that. You can also donate, but I think it's important to mention that donation bins are not trash bins. They're not dumpsters. Don't dump the shoes that have holes in them, or the appliances that no longer work, or any of the other junk. If you're going to donate an item, make sure it's clean and in good condition, and that it's not going to cost the charity time and money to get rid of it. Now, a lot of the things that get discarded just needs to be repaired. We live in a society where it's much easier just to replace items than to repair them. But I'm trying to make an effort to mend clothing that needs fixed, or get rid of stains, or fix broken appliances if they can be. And there's a website devoted, it's called iFixit, all about how to fix broken items. If it can't be sold, donated, or repaired, maybe it can be recycled. So a lot of places will take like old electronics and computers and things like that. And then there's other items like paper items, cardboard, plastics, metal containers that can always be recycled. I'm currently trying to figure out how to upcycle items that would normally end up in the trash. And for the items that just are beyond repair, there's nothing you can do with them. It's essentially garbage. Consider slapping a free sign on it, because you'd be surprised what kind of stuff people will take. I've gotten rid of broken appliances, boxes of broken tile, like artists like that kind of stuff. So keep in mind that one man's trash is another man's treasure. So before you shove those items in the trash can, consider that somebody might want them. For day 9, we talk about green cleaning. So how green are your cleaning supplies? So here's a list of chemicals to avoid. Some of them you might have heard of: chlorine, bleach, formaldehyde, antibacterial items, ammonia, anything with fragrance. These are not good for the environment, and they're also not good for your health. Fortunately, there are a lot of natural cleaning products, like lemon-based ones, vinegar, baking soda. I love using baking soda. And a brand that I really like is Mrs. Meyer's. So we buy these, the hand soap, the cleaning soap. We try to buy it in bulk because it's better to buy in bulk, of course, than it is to buy just the small containers. And then I found some ingredients for natural home cleaners that work just as well as store-bought ones. So if you're making your own cleaners at home, you're going to save money also. So Catherine goes a little bit more into detail for her day 9 cleaning, making your own at home. Volatile organic compounds are released when some of these cleaning products are used. These are really bad for your health. And she also offers a handful of green cleaning recipes. So other items to keep on hand, reusable ones. So avoid paper towels, things that can be thrown away, and opt instead for reusable rags, brooms and dusters, scrubs. These things can be washed and used again. And day 10 talks about compost. Now, this is my garden from 2020. I had an absolute blast gardening. Having a compost bin is incredibly easy. You just toss your kitchen scraps, anything that biodegrades, including paper towels. If you just absolutely can't part with them, at least you can toss them in the compost. Some people put cardboard in there because you need to have a ratio of about 1 part nitrogen, which is the green stuff in the produce, to 30 parts carbon. So the brown stuff, leaves and wood chips and those sorts of things. You don't want to have too much nitrogen, which is usually my problem because I just toss mainly kitchen scraps and not a lot of the other brown stuff. So anything that breaks down or biodegrades, you can toss into the bin. Make sure it has enough air going through. You don't want it to be completely sealed up. You want water to be able to go through. Now, there are other things that you should not compost, like black walnut tree leaves, charcoal ash, dairy products, fats and grease and oils, pet waste, anything with chemical pesticides, sometimes weeds if they've got seeds. You don't want that going into the compost bin because you don't want those weeds ending up in your garden. But it's incredibly easy. And I've decided to start composting in my office because I have a lot of things that could go into the compost bin here. So what I've started doing is I keep a little box on my desk where I have plant trimmings, I've got, a handful of produce waste, things like that I can just put in the bin to empty later. Now, if you do it correctly, it shouldn't have a bad smell. But if you start adding things like meat and dairy, it's gonna stink. So be careful about what you put in there. You can also there's products like the bokashi bins, worm bins, but it doesn't have to be a complicated process. You don't have to go to great lengths to compost. If everybody composted, it would be so good for the environment, and the payoff is great. You get this fantastic soil to be used for gardening, or if you're not a gardener, give that soil to friends who do garden or sell it. Like, the benefits are endless. And that brings us to day 11, which is conserving resources. Here's a picture of me line drying my clothes. I love to line dry when I can. Of course, it's cold and wet outside right now, so I haven't been able to. But being more mindful about how much water we use and how much electricity we use, it can be difficult to think about sometimes, but there are a lot of little things that you can do to save water and electricity. I'm going to try to take shorter showers. That's going to be the biggest challenge for me. But little things like turning off the faucet when you're brushing your teeth, unplugging appliances that aren't in use, making sure you power off the TV and the computer. This is actually better for your appliances too. Drinking more water. So consider getting a rain barrel. So there's other things. If you're already doing the little things, you can start doing bigger things like investing in solar energy, having a rain barrel. investing in Energy Star, electronics, and appliances. These changes can make a big difference. Day 12 of the Zero Waste Challenge talks about picking up litter. So I always do this whenever I go on float trips. I absolutely love to float. I'm always on the river. And when I see trash, I pick it up. But it's easy to get out of the habit if it's just around the city because there's so much. But I'm committed to trying to pick up any trash that I see on my daily commute, having a bag handy to pick it up. I think it's important to remember that just because there's trash on the street does not mean that some jerk decided to just throw it there. Like, of course, those people do exist, but sometimes trash just gets blown out of bins. It happens. And if nobody else takes the initiative to pick it up, then it's just going to stay there. So I'm very passionate about my city and my community. So taking the time to just pick up trash that I see on the streets on my way to and from work and other places, it's something I'm going to be more mindful of and try to do more of in the future. And now we get more into the food. We talked about composting already. Day 13 focuses on grocery shopping. So this is what I got at the farmer's market a couple of years ago. I'm going to try to start shopping locally more often, but there are a lot of other things you can do for eco-friendly grocery shopping, like bringing your own grocery tote, of course, your own produce bags so that you don't have to use the little plastic ones, shopping local, shopping at stores that have bulk bins. I know Mama Jean's has one. I'm not sure about others here in my hometown. Trying to avoid unnecessary packaging, which often means avoiding unhealthy foods, because unhealthy foods like processed foods and frozen foods often come in a lot of packaging, for that reason. Also, grocery shopping more often and buying less as you go really makes a big difference. Because I used to grocery shop like once a month, maybe twice a month, and then I would have to buy a lot of food at once, and it was more to carry, and then it was a rush to try to get it all eaten so that it didn't go bad. And now instead, I'm trying to grocery shop weekly and only buy what I need instead of having so much to try to get through. So these small weekly grocery trips have really made a difference. And Catherine stresses a lot of other things in her blog. Some of the ones I mentioned, but also a plant-based diet really makes a difference. That's one that I forgot to mention. Trying to avoid the meat and the dairy will have a significant impact on your carbon footprint. I've got a lot of friends who are vegan and vegetarian. I'm not, but I'm definitely cutting down on my meat consumption. And finally, day 14 gets into fighting food waste. So I already covered several of those topics, but here are a few more if you're worried about wasting food, aside from the ones I've already mentioned, like grocery shopping more often and buying less and buying in bulk. Familiarize yourself with expiration dates. Just because it says it's expired does not mean that it's fit to eat. Now, don't put yourself in danger. Like, make sure you know what it is that you're eating. I don't really take a chance with meat and dairy products. Once they're expired, I tend to throw them out. But I always do the sniff test. Sometimes the milk is still good, but usually it's on the verge by the time we get to that expiration date. But a lot of canned goods are perfectly fine. And there's also confusion with the sell-by date and use by, and usually it's still good to eat. I'm also committing to the meal I don't want to promote the idea that you have to clean your plate, because I think that's a very unhealthy way to eat. It gives us a very unhealthy idea about how much we consume. Instead, if you can't finish your meal, just save it in a Tupperware and eat it later. Don't overstuff yourself, but don't throw away food that could still be eaten. And that includes crappy leftovers. So this has forced me to eat out a little bit less because I can never finish the meal, and it's never as good as leftovers. Sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 tries to finish the entire portion because they come in such big portions. But committing to the meal, striving not to throw away anything that could have been eaten, has really made a difference. And then, of course, the others I've talked about: eating less meat, eating less dairy, and cooking more instead of eating out. So Catherine covers a few other things, like making sure that you've stored food properly, because if you store it the wrong way, some things go bad quicker than others. And then making a meal plan and things like that. So this was week 2 of the Zero Waste Challenge. It's been fun so far. It feels disheartening at times because I know that even if I make these little changes as an individual, it doesn't make much of a dent in the grand scheme of things. But there are more benefits to green living than just taking care of the planet. All of these tips, they all save you money. They all save you time. They're all healthier. So green living is more than just what can we do to reduce our carbon footprint. It's also just living a cleaner, healthier, better lifestyle. And who doesn't want that? So wish me luck as we get into week 3, and I hope you join me.